What's up, Ramburglers? It's me, ya boy. Um, I'll wait for a few of you to trickle in before I start talking about anything real. Got the hiccups real bad tonight. Sorry I'm late. I was eating a bunch of spaghetti, which also did not help the hiccups. Ugh. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone feeling on this wonderful Tuesday night? I personally am feeling very good because my belly is filled with spaghetti, and it was very, very tasty. I'd go eat more if I had any. Howdy, filmmaking in the background, but I'm curious to hear what we'll talk about tonight. Well, there's one obvious thing I got to talk about, sadly. Uh, Hang on. Sorry. I'm still working out the kinks of. Here we go. Yeah, so this is today's tragic news. Robert Redford dead at 89. I mean, I really shouldn't call it a tragedy because he died in his sleep with his family around him or whatever. I heard that somewhere. So good for him. That's how I want to go. There's him looking uncharacter. Fuck you. That's him looking less handsome than usual, and he still looks handsome as a motherfucker. So, uh, is there anything really interesting in this article? Not really. He's 89. He died. He presumably died of being 89. So that sucks. He was a real actor, like not that modern day actors and filmmakers are all like shitty or whatever. I'm not trying to be an edgy contrarian here, but he was like a genuine actor with a genuine passion for the field. He was also a hardcore political activist for all the good things in the world. Basically, he was a good guy, and the world is worse for his death. But he lived a good life. Sounds like he died a good death, just dying in your sleep. I mean, isn't that how you want to go? Just fucking drift off thinking, oh yeah, tomorrow I'll do this and that. It it serves in contrast to last week's memorial segment that I did, because you know I guess they were similar in that they were both political activists. The difference is that Robert Redford stood for everything that was good in the world, and Charlie Kirk stood for everything that was evil. And so you'll notice that people are actually mourning Redford's death rather than Kirk's. Sucks for him, but hang on. May we create a world where all of us die peacefully in our sleep. Yeah, I agree. That is kind of the ultimate way to go, to die at age almost 90 after leaving behind a legacy of artistic expression and a better world through political activism. Which CW episode? Oh, Clone Wars. I thought you meant like CW, the channel. Because there's a lot of CW episodes. What is my favorite Redford movie? Um, I'm probably gonna go cliched and say Butch Cassidy because it's Butch Cassidy. But I also really like All the President's Men. I really liked The Old Man and the Gun. That was the one he announced would be his retirement, which I think he did like a voice role in some weird little short like once after that. But in terms of live action roles, that was his final role before retiring, and that was a surprisingly good movie. And then I know he was in fucking Captain America and all that, which he's good in that, and that one that he's in is good. But it's like I don't want that to be what he's remembered for. The man was in a bunch of like real movies. It kind of sticks in my craw a little bit that the cameo he shot for Endgame before Old Man and the Gun came out after, Because then everyone's like, wait, I thought he was retired. It's like, yeah, things shoot in different orders, dumb fucks. But yeah, R.I.P. As Wadley's saying right here. I don't know if you want me using your real name on stream, so I won't. R.I.P. Robert Redford. Great dude, great actor, great filmmaker. That's what else? What do you say about him? He was a legend. He founded the Sundance Film Festival. Like he did more for like real filmmaking than most people do. I have not seen either of those. I do need to see them, but I have not seen them. I've seen like fairly few of his movies for how much I respect him. So I need to like actually go back and like see all his movies for real, which is probably going to be a hell of an accomplishment given how many he did. It was easy when I did that for James Dean because James Dean did 3 movies, not counting uncredited cameo appearances and other shit. But yeah, Robert Redford was great. He just, he had this kind of like old-fashioned Hollywood good looks that you don't really see anymore. Like what we call a handsome or attractive man is different than it used to be. I mean, like here, I'll put my screen back up. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Fuck you. Here we go. Like this is him. This is him with Paul Newman. It's like this is a very old-fashioned type of Hollywood good look. Like it's not focused on them being like these dehydrated muscle freaks who haven't eaten a carb in 7 years or whatever. It's just them like, they're fit and they're handsome, but it's more about like being charming and well dressed and having good dialogue. Like yeah, he was the guy in the meme that looks like Zach Galifianakis. Everybody thinks that that's Zach Galifianakis. It's not. I'm going to bring up the GIF. Oh yeah, that's another good one of his, Jeremiah Johnson. As far as I know, that is his actual hair. In fact, he actually had pretty much a full head of hair till he died, which is quite an accomplishment at the age he was. Robert Redford GIF. Yeah, here it is. Here. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong tab. Let me fix that. No, fuck you. That's not what I wanted. No, fuck you. That is also not what I wanted. God damn it, I hate using this shit sometimes. Here we go. Wait, yeah, here we go. I think that's it. No, still, fuck you. Here, I'm doing this the hard way. Fucking StreamYard. Yeah, here we go. That is not Zach Galifianakis. Everybody thinks it is, but it's not. That is him from the movie Jeremiah Johnson, which is kind of it's a little weird in terms of modern movies because it's like really slowly paced and really old-fashioned type movie, but it's pretty fucking great. Like it's a really solid film that I personally really like. And not just because it's the meme, but like he's really good in it. It has a very kind of interesting story. Guy trying to make his own way in the woods, developing this weird little found family, like despite his best efforts almost. It's just a charming movie. Yeah, he did a lot of those. He did a lot of like very understated performances, but were really good. Like he wasn't a big like scream and yell and emote actor. He was more of a like quietly let his eyes tell you what he's thinking type of actor, and I really respect the hell out of that. He was born for film acting, not theater acting, basically. I'm not an expert on that field, but I know a little bit about it. I've had a lot of friends who were actors, and like, yeah, you'd be surprised how much difference there is between acting for the stage and acting for the screen. You got to emote very differently. You got to be very physically expressive because you're working with like the guy who's 100 feet away who can't see you. So you got to do big gestures to really sell what you're trying to sell. Excuse the hiccups. That's going to be a recurring problem, at least tonight. Yeah, where is Jeremiah Johnson around? Because I rented it from the library because that's how comparatively obscure it is. Oh, it's on fucking Tubi. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Tubi. And also all these rental places. So I recommend checking it out. It's a good movie. We need to bring back the days. Yeah, you're right. Comment Tubi W. Tubi is the Wild West, no pun intended, of streaming because it'll have like a classic film like Jeremiah Johnson, and then it'll have Woke, which I talked about like a few shows ago, or maybe last show. Who remembers? I certainly don't remember what content I make, but yeah, it's we need to bring back the era of movies having like a theme song named after the movie that plays repeatedly throughout the movie. I miss that. I watched what was it called? Every Which Way But Loose recently, the Clint Eastwood movie from the late 70s, and like yeah, it has a theme song named after the movie that they play more than once and got like its own release that was really popular. We need to bring that back. I want to go back to I want to see the next Iron Man movie have like, the Iron Man theme song. And I don't just mean Iron Man by Black Sabbath, though you could do that too. Tubi's legit. Tubi is genuinely, I'm illiterate, the wildest thing imaginable. They have some anime Latin American dubs on there. I was watching some Caballeros de Zodakio a few years back. I don't know what that is, but I'm happy for you. I don't watch much anime because I'm not a pedophile. I'm joking. Don't worry. Anime is not exclusively for pedophiles. It just leans into that too much for my comfort sometimes. But Cowboy Bebop is good, and Akira is a masterpiece, and so I won't shit on. I kid the animes. I kid the animes. I kid the Japanese animes. What was I talking about? I was talking about Robert Redford. Yeah, great guy. Sad to see him go. Made some great stuff. A little pissed off that I'll never be as handsome as he is in my wildest dreams. That's a little bit infuriating. Um, he and fucking Paul Newman are reunited. Good for them. Paul Newman's another one. Paul Newman was like the same, like a similar type of actor, very like kind of understated, lets his face sell the performance. But he's great, man. Paul Newman's made some fucking fantastic movies. English name Knights of the Zodiac, but its English dub is infamously bad, so most talk about it by its original name. Yeah, so I actually tell me more about that. What makes the English dub bad? Because I know a bit about what makes an English dub bad, but not enough to like really judge it the way you do. So I would be curious, like did the voices not fit, or did they overact, or was it not translated well? Because there's a lot of it's shocking what goes into dubbing, like because not every line of dialogue perfectly translates literally from Spanish to English or whatever language, doesn't matter. Saint Seiya kind of invented the shonen power friendship trope. It was a hack dub, meaning like cheaply, quickly done, or like is that an internet joke? I don't know. Excuse me. Oh, fucking violent stuff. Yeah, because Americans are goddamn cowards who can't handle anything real in their movies. Yeah, I have the 4K disc release of Akira, and like the recent one they did a couple years ago, and it's really great. It's remastered, it looks amazing. So, oh god, Blood turned blue and renamed Life Force. Fuck you. Anyway, the disc I have of Akira has the original Japanese audio track, and then it has the English dub they did in like 2001. I think that was for the DVD release. But as I guess it's not a bonus feature. They have both English dubs, the one everyone knows and the original from the late 80s, the one that was like cheaply done in a hurry. So out of curiosity, I watched all three just to see how different they are. And the Japanese and English ones aren't very different, like, because they put time and effort into it for the proper release. But the 80s one, like, it's not awful, but it does that annoying thing where they anglicize some of the names, like Ryu becomes Roy and shit. And they only did it for the minor characters for some reason. Plus, it also came out in Japan in the 80s and didn't get dubbed in English until like the late 90s or early 2000s, so it looks real janky in comparison to everything else on TV at the same time. Yeah, that can happen too. That doesn't happen with Akira because Akira is fucking legendary for a reason. But like, yeah, the 80s dub of Akira didn't translate the dialogue quite as accurately. Now, granted, I don't speak Japanese. I'm only privy to the English subtitles. But if I'm giving the English subtitles the benefit of the doubt and assuming that they are accurately translated from the Japanese, the 2000s English dub matched the subtitles much more closely than the 80s one does. Dubbing is a funny thing. For a similar example, you guys ever see the movie Django? Not Django Unchained, the original Django from the mid 60s. Here, I'll bring it up. I don't need this tab open anymore. Django. In fact, the theme music from Django Unchained is actually from this movie. Django, Django, have you always been alone? Yeah, this movie. Awesome movie. Awesome little spaghetti western. I'd call it forgotten, but not really. It's more that it just inspired a lot of more famous stuff. But like, yeah, Franco Nero, you guys might know that actor. Yeah, that's what I'm getting into. All these Italian movies where all the languages have those weird dub mouth movements. So the reason why that is, and I know you probably know this, but not everybody watching does, is that most of those movies were shot without sound at all, because that costs more money. So all the sound you hear in the movie was done in post. And so what you'll see a lot of is that they'll like, even with American ones, like the Clint Eastwood Dollars trilogy does this. They basically just, since they're dubbing it anyway, we're saying to the actors, like, just speak your native language. So that's why the like Clint Eastwood's mouth movements almost entirely match up throughout those movies, but then like the bit characters don't, because the bit characters were just played by local Italian actors. Yes, Django Unchained, the much more famous kind of, let's be real, ripoff of Django, has a reference to the original where the actor Franco Nero, who plays the original Django, meets our Django, and he says, the D is silent, and Franco Nero says, I know. It's because he's also Django. Get it? But yeah, this movie, how do I bring it up again? Fuck me. Here we go. That's not actually what I wanted, but it'll do. That's what I wanted. Yeah, so this movie, the original Django, is another one with it's got the original Italian dub and the English dub. Neither matches perfectly because, again, shot with no sound, actors speaking their native language. But the thing with the English dub is that the guy they got for Django is the wrong voice. Because Django's like this gruff, like rough around the edges, badass gunslinger, right? And the guy they got, and that's what he sounds like in the Italian dub. Apparently, they didn't have Franco Nero do the dub for either one, even though he spoke both languages. And according to the bonus features, that's part of why they cast him. Because, oh, fuck, local Italian actor who speaks English. That's going to be useful. The guy they got for the English dub is like he's got this really smooth baritone, like almost gentlemanly voice. Like he sounds more like he sounds more like the hotel manager in like a drama, like the fancy hotel manager. Oh, is that true? I didn't realize non-spaghetti westerns also did that, but that makes sense given what the Italian film industry was like in that era. But yeah, so the guy like he has a really like gentlemanly fancy hotel manager voice, and that would be a really interesting contrast with Django's gruff exterior if it was on purpose, but it's kind of not. So it's just kind of it doesn't completely nuke the movie. Like the movie's still good in English. It's just at least personally, I prefer the original dub whenever I can because the you know your kung fu is no match for mine type of shit drives me insane. I can deal with it in anime because in animation the lip movements don't tend to match the words super precisely anyway. They kind of just tend to be up and down. So you can a little bit more easily get away with dubbing it. But with live action it just drives me up the wall. I'm going to see if I can find a clip to prove what I'm talking about. Because I am always lying on these streams. Django 1966 Italian versus English. Damn it. I guess not. I guess nobody but me cares enough about this to point it out. Oh, cool. The whole movie's on YouTube now. That's cool. Awesome movie. Oh, okay. I believe you because you know more about foreign cultures than I do. Big exception to that being Akira. If you watch closely, all those mouth movements look like what an actual Japanese speaker's lips would be. Yeah, Akira's animation in general is exceptional. So it makes sense that the lip syncing would be no different. But most stuff, like most 2D animated stuff, they kind of just make the mouth move. Like so you can fudge it a little, you can tweak the dialogue a little bit. Yeah, I guess nobody but me cares enough, but yeah, it's still a good movie in English. It's just not the same, Oh, and there's also how do I talk about this without spoiling? During the big climactic scene, like the big fight at the end, at one point the enemies think that he's praying because it's like in a graveyard and he's taking cover behind a crucifix shaped headstone. And so in the Italian dub, the bad guy's like, "Oh, you praying, Django? Oh, I'll join in with you. In the name of the Father, bang! The Son, bang! And the Holy Spirit, bang!" And like shoots at him and misses each time. In the English dub, they take that line out for some reason. Like I don't know if they just couldn't translate it and have the cadence work or whatever, but he just kind of goes like, "You can't hide from me, Django, bang!" And then they like it's not clever. It's not as interesting. Most anime I watch is dubbed, mostly because I'm usually doing something else when it's on. I can't do that with narrative fiction. If I'm watching like a story, I have to actually pay attention to it. I can do that with YouTube. Like I can listen to a podcast or like a news thing or whatever while I'm working but I can't do like if I'm editing something or like writing a paper, not that I do that anymore, but you know what I mean. I can listen to podcasts while I do it. I can't watch like narrative fiction. My fucking dad can do that, but then again, he's retired now, and even when he wasn't, he was working from home for the last like 5.5 years. Oh, I'm not worthy of your attention, huh? Well, fuck you. I'm kidding. I love you. Yeah, so I'll literally like back when my dad was still working, I used to walk in on him like doing his fucking whatever he's doing, and like Star Trek Deep Space Nine's on one monitor, and the actual work he's doing is on the other. And I'd say, how do you do that? And the answer is he's not really paying attention to Star Trek very closely. Which I don't know how you do that because Star Trek I like. Star Trek maintains my attention pretty easily. Even the racist ones. I don't like the racist ones, but they maintain my attention. Yeah, my mom is like that. My mom, she calls it ARAD, age-related attention deficit, even though she was always like that. But she always, I fall into this a bit too. She always needs something to do with her hands. So usually when she's watching TV, she's like knitting or scrolling, or not scrolling. She's like playing one of the Bubble Shoot or Tetris or whatever games. Um, I I fall into that sometimes, but if what I'm watching is engaging to me, like I lock the fuck in. I put down my phone, I put down my fidget toys and my goddamn Lego I'm building and my video games and everything. Oh my god. I put things on in not English and my mama said, "Oh, is this one of those movies you have to pay attention to?" Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on your mom. She's a wonderful lady, but like I hate when I see people watching movies that way. I mean, if it's something you've seen a million times before, that's one thing. But like, if I'm watching something new, I have to actually watch it. Paradise stole me away from doing Pokemon last night. I'm assuming you mean Paradise, the TV show. Is that the same one? I think it is. Yeah, this is it. Isn't that the one? Aren't they like underground or something? I know it's like a political thriller, but like there was a nuke or I don't know. Like I know a bit about it because my mom watched some of it, but yeah, I to give a little bit of she did seem to like Look Back, another anime movie worth watching. Yeah, that's possible. I actually recently, like a few weeks ago, saw the re-release of Shin Godzilla in theaters because I'd been looking for that movie not dubbed into English for years. Metropolis combined with the Matrix, you say? I will keep that in mind. So yeah, Shin Godzilla for some reason for like the last several years I've been looking for it. I could only find the English dub, and I didn't want to watch that because it annoys me. So then when they re-released it, I was like, oh, I'll just go see that. And when I was sitting there, I was like, I think this is the first time I've ever seen a subtitled movie in theaters. I've seen plenty of them at home. I don't think I'd ever seen one in the theaters. Yeah, I also keep misreading Paradise as Parasite, which of course is a masterpiece and everybody loves for a reason. Yeah, so Shin Godzilla, pretty good movie. I was like, I didn't realize till I was there. I'd never seen a dubbed movie in theaters before, and I instantly felt more artistic and smarter, even though I was watching a Godzilla movie. Uh, Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever seen a documentary in theaters either. Weirdly enough, uh, like I think just every time I come across a documentary I want to watch, it's always something available at home. I would have gone to see No Other Land in theaters, but none of the ones near me were playing it, and thankfully, some beautiful soul uploaded it to Internet Archive, so I just watched it there because it's better than letting the fucking U.S. government win in their ongoing efforts to censor that movie. I've seen one English language movie in theaters with English subtitles. Mike Lee's Hard Truths. Great movie for a word of it. Let me look up if that's the movie I think it is. So, oh yeah, I remember this. I remember hearing about this. So, oh, I was about to ask. Not sure if I just went to a screening that had subs or if they're just too British for Americans to understand. Yeah, my I made my mom watch Sinners a week or two ago, and she wanted me to turn the subtitles on because the southern accents are impenetrable at times. But I told her I'm not going to do that because sometimes the subtitles spoil something that's about to happen. Like if the line cuts off, the character is going to get his head blown off, or sometimes they'll have the name of a character you're not supposed to know yet. So she instead had to muddle through understanding the southern accents. Sorry, mom, but it had to be done. It had to be done to preserve the dramatic effect. Yeah, I hate when subtitles do that. Like when they like this is the most random fucking example. I don't know why I thought of it, but if you ever see the movie 12 Monkeys, which is a fucking amazing movie. It's one of my favorites, by the way. Don't watch it with the subtitles because there's one scene where they listen to a voicemail and you're not supposed to know who's on the other end, but the subtitles will fucking spoil it. Like they have that character's name like an hour before you're supposed to know who it was. I have to watch new Star Wars stuff with subs so I know how the names are spelled. Why do you care that much about how the names are spelled? Like Star Wars always spells its characters' names in funny ways. Like, is that just to talk about it on Twitter? Ha, that's funny. It's actually, I'm glad I'd seen the movie before because it wasn't funny. I was like, God damn it, I'm not supposed to know that character's fucking identity yet. Why is it just plastered on the subtitles for everyone to see? Oh, yeah. Kim, spelled like that. That's why I brought this up. Yeah, Star Wars does that. Like they have a lot of wacky names, and then when they have real names, they'll sometimes spell them different. Like there was a character named Tim, but they spelled it with two M's, I think. Oh God, man, I'm so glad Andor won those won at least whatever that one or two Emmys it won the other night because like as much as it's a cultural institution and as much as we can like debate the quality of individual installments, Star Wars is like great. Like it's easy to make fun of now, but like the first one got nominated for Best Picture. Disney is the definition of pick me. Yeah, I mean I'll only defend Disney the corporation so hard, but I'll defend Star Wars the property a lot harder because for better or worse, it has ideas most of the time. They're not always good. They're not always sometimes they're good ideas not well executed, but they always more or less have ideas. I mean it's kind of there's the asterisk attached to it of being followed up by Rise of Skywalker, but like in hindsight, it's pretty insane that Disney signed off on Rian Johnson's storyline for The Last Jedi because that's like an actually subversive take on Star Wars, which is why I love that movie as much as I do because it expects me to have grown the fuck up since I saw the originals. And I respect that. I hate when movies. I was talking last stream about how people don't want to see their heroes get older and reckon with their legacies. And I forgot to mention this last stream, but there's one partial exception to that for some reason, which is the recent God of War games. The two God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. Now, maybe that's just because they were so good that even like chuds can't help but like them. Maybe it's just because the God of War games up till then weren't really heavy on the story to begin with. But like God of War, for those of you who haven't played it, the original series of them, there's like the trilogy and then there's a prequel and there's a couple spin-offs that were on PSP. They are it's not that they have no story, it's that the story is a thin veneer to justify why you're an unstoppable killing machine rage beast murdering his way through the Greek pantheon. The story is there and what there is good, but it's mostly about the gameplay of like you are the literal god of war. This guy is evil. Turn him into chunky salsa with your swords, which is badass. And I love those games. And then God of War 2018 comes along and it becomes this like not subversive, but we explore Kratos' feelings. Like, how does he feel having a son after having lost his first family? How, like, the things he did in Greece, like, how does he reckon with that? How does he sleep at night? Um, like, oh, he's overprotective of his son because he lost his daughter. but he also is afraid to get close to his son, and he gets like a character arc as he opens up and tells his son about his past and stops hiding the scars of his past misdeeds. I actually don't fully agree. It obviously nothing is as mainstream as Star Wars, but God of War ain't exactly a niche property. And I do, all this being said, I do occasionally see people bitching, not so much about like the fact that he's more sensitive, though I do see that sometimes too. I see people bitch about the fact that like God of War has a story. Like I've seen, like even the creator, David Jaffe, who I think only did the first one. He kind of has said in interviews that he doesn't really care for the new ones because like it's not about that. I don't care what Kratos' feelings are. I don't care about the story. It's like, but you're sorry, death of the author or whatever, but you're fucking wrong, David Jaffe. I liked God of War a lot pre 2018. I love it now because now there's all that badass action and turning the enemies into chunky salsa, and you get this like gripping emotional story about fatherhood and moving on from your past mistakes. I mean, I'm quite literally having my cake and eating it too. Which, by the way, apropos of nothing, always a phrase I never got because having the cake to me implied you were eating the cake. The saying should be keep your cake and eat it too. Never played the God of War franchise, but much like the Resident Evil series, I know so much of the lore despite not finishing a single game. Love YouTube explainers. How old is God of War? The first one came out in 2005, I think. It was originally on PS2. I played it on. My voice did something weird there because I changed what I was going to say mid-sentence. I played it on PS3 because I think in like 2012, they did like the God of War Saga collection, which had up to that point the entire series, which is like 5 games. And I was like, all right, well, a lot of these they don't have on more modern consoles, and it'd be kind of a bitch to track each one down. And then I go on eBay, and sure enough, for $60, I can get 5 games still wrapped in plastic. So I just did that. Played the PS3 versions, like all the ones from the PS3 era. I played or before I played on PS3, and then the 2018 one is on the 4, and the new and Ragnarok's on the 4 and 5. So those I was able to play on like a modern console because I mean, my old consoles still work and everything, but every now and then they show a little bit of sign of age. Like they make a slightly weird noise, and I look at them like this, and I get paranoid about, oh fuck, please God, electronic device I can't buy a new one of. Please don't explode on me. But I've had good luck so far. But yeah, like so God of War 3, for example, was released on PS3, but then it got a PS4 remaster later, which I could have played, but like I already had the 3 versions, so I just did that instead. And I know like the PlayStation Plus, like they have the different memberships now where you can stream old games. I could have played them there, but it's like, no, I want to own this fucking thing so that like they can't take it away from me. So that when Obama becomes president for life, he can't like seize all my games. Now, let me be clear. God of War does bad things for the American people. Yep. We still have a classic PS1 that my boyfriend plays Metal Gear Solid on. Yeah, he tried to get me to fucking play it on there one time. And I'm sure I would have liked it, but I just didn't feel like doing that at that moment. So the like old, more primitive controls that don't use all the buttons were fucking me up. One of these days I'll actually like go back and play those for real. I was talking about Obama. Why was I talking about Obama? I gotta start like writing down my own train of thought so I don't like completely fucking lose my train of thought every time I make a joke or respond to chat. I was saying something about God of War and not wanting my games to be fucking confiscated. I mean, I was joking there a little, but only a little bit because digital storefronts can just take shit off without telling you. Yeah, I need to play more Kojima stuff because I haven't played any of his things. Like, I know who he is and I respect the hell out of him as an artist. Like, even if I'm not as much of a fan, like, I kind of feel the same way about him as I did like David Lynch, where like I don't love David Lynch's movies, but he's a genuine artist and I respect him for that by itself. I have not the PS1, but I have 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have like almost the same shrine. I started with PS2 because I'm not quite old yet. Not yet, anyway. But yeah, I still have all those old consoles, and they're all still plugged in, hooked up to the TV. They all still work. It's just every now and then I hear a weird noise, and I get freaked out. I do. Oh my god, I forgot about the David Lynch PlayStation ad. That was great. Is that around? Like, is that copyright protected? Because I could show it, I think. David Lynch PlayStation. Yeah. So I'll tell a little bit of your lore, Alex, because I don't know why not. Um, so Alex was in, as many people were, was finishing up college when COVID hit, and therefore couldn't use like the campus labs, or then later on when he had a job, an editing job, couldn't work at the studio or at the editing stations or whatever. So by happenstance forced him to get a thank you for the permission. Happenstance forced Alex to get like a really high end PC to do video editing from at home. And by accident he was like, wait, fuck. This is now a really good gaming PC too. So he's been saying for like 5 years, yeah, I'll get around to getting a PS5 eventually when they have something I want that isn't on PC. But that day hasn't come because PlayStation started making their own PC stuff. So kind of just by accident, Alex wound up with a super high tech gaming PC. Yeah, I know I'm right, motherfucker. You told the story to me, and I remember most of it. I was mostly sober when you told me. Um, oh, I guess there's like a bunch of David Lynch PlayStation commercials. Okay, so I won't get into that because I don't know which one is the one you were talking about. I don't know which indoctrination you're referring to, but yeah, probably. Oh, the PC, yeah. Yeah, I've heard Steam has had good sales. I'm a little tempted to not get a gaming PC, but to at least make a Steam account because there are like one or two older games that I can't find on any console I own. Um, Most notably, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. They So for those of you who don't know, the Star Wars Jedi Knight series had four games. It had Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Academy. They had like HD PS4 remasters of Jedi Outcast and Academy already, like because Aspyr, who's the company that does those, did them because they're really popular games. And then recently, another studio called Night Dive did a remaster, like a really in-depth, high-quality remaster of the first one of Dark Forces. So now, like on my modern console, I can buy Dark Forces 1, 3, and 4, and not 2. And I like the story in them. I want to continue it. I don't want to play 3 and 4 till I've played 2. But it's pissing me off. Like, guys, the remaster of the first one sold well. Just make a second, please. Let's just remaster Jedi Knight, like, because I want to play the whole series. You really didn't know? Like, I figured you hadn't played them till college. I didn't realize you never heard of them. I'd at least I'd heard of them. One of my friends when I was a kid had Jedi Academy on his PC, and I was at his house once, and he was showing it to me. Like, the lightsaber build, all like that whole mechanic. Yeah, those games were really, as you said, really special. They kind of invented a lot of the stuff that is now really commonplace in modern Star Wars games, like building your own lightsaber and mastering different force powers. It's not to say that that was never done before, but I don't know. They really like codified it with, like, at least in the Star Wars IP. I have not heard of Claire Obscure, but I believe you. Yeah, that's true. The live action cutscenes in Dark Forces 2 were the first Star Wars media filmed post 1980s, but before the prequels. I was gonna say since Return of the Jedi, but then mid sentence I remembered that the Ewok movies exist, which, for better or worse, the Ewok movies exist. Yeah, it's kind of funny. The first Dark Forces was like a Doom clone. That's what we called first-person shooters back then, Doom clones. And it's a great game. But then in the second, they have your character discover his force potential and like become a Jedi, and you can still play in first person, like especially when you're using guns and blasters and shit. But from Dark Forces 2 onward, they kind of comparatively de-emphasize the first person shooter aspects and make it a lot more about lightsaber combat, which that's fine for me. I like both of those things, so any game where it lets me play as both of them. Ewoks of the Old Republic. I'm shocked they haven't done an Ewoks, like at least a game or something, because they've brought them back in the comics. Like even the characters from the old shitty Ewoks cartoon, like fucking Nisa and Logray and all them. Yeah. By the way, the Ewoks cartoon, I don't want to shit on it too hard because it was like a really low budget children's cartoon from the mid '80s. But it sucks. Like the way I got through that series was making it like one of my chores every day. Like, all right, take out the trash, vacuum the living room, watch one episode of Ewoks. You can do it. Yeah, you're right, Alex. Shadows of the Empire, biggest cross promotional Star Wars story, at least for that time. Yeah, that's kind of one of my video game white whales. I want them to do like an HD remaster even just a port, even if you don't update it in any way, of Shadows of the Empire, because it's not on any console I own. It's only on like PC and N64. I think that's it. But I've read the novel, I've read the comic book. I haven't played the video game. And you kind of, in order to get the full story, you kind of need all three. And there was also like a soundtrack. What other filmmakers still create for the love of the craft because they have a story to tell? Well, fucking Ryan Coogler sure as hell does. Like I knew he was good. I didn't know he had that kind of sauce. Boots Riley's great. Jordan Peele's pretty good. There's a pattern here. They're all black filmmakers because I don't know, the black experience lends itself well to film, I guess. Who else is like really good that's currently active? Paul Thomas Anderson still makes movies pretty often. I need to see the rest of his movies because the only one of his movies I've seen is Boogie Nights, but Boogie Nights is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen in my entire life. So it's kind of nuts that I just by happenstance have never seen anything else he's made. But he's got a new one coming out that I'm really excited for. One Battle After Another is what it's called. Denis Villeneuve, you're right, Alex. Denis Villeneuve's great. I think I'm pronouncing his name right, but he's French, so I don't have to respect him that much. Not very many filmmakers that get those crazy levels of mainstream success make real movies. Yeah, Bong Joon-ho, he's another one. He's had some fairly mainstream success, especially with Parasite. Though with Snowpiercer and Mickey 17 to a lesser extent. Mickey 17 didn't do well at the box office, but its reviews are pretty good. I really liked it. Man, what other filmmakers? Villeneuve, yeah, okay. Villeneuve. Yeah, like I said, he's French, so I don't respect him. Other film. Zach Kreger. Zach Kreger has made 2 movies so far, and they're both really good. He also co-directed a third way back in 2009, which nobody else likes, but I do because I like stupid sex comedies from the 2000s, and it's a better one than most. Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is fucking great. And a lot of them make like franchise movies, but you can make a franchise movie be a real movie. I mean, even Like the Black Panther movies aren't, the most original ever, but Ryan Coogler put some real artistry into them. Like, um, I don't know, like the fact that all the black people in Wakanda, none of them ever have straightened hair because they were like, well, if Wakanda didn't get colonized, they wouldn't have the same beauty standards as the West. It's like that's a level of attention to detail that like most movies in general don't hit, especially not most fucking Marvel movies. Yeah, I forgot about James Gunn. I kind of forget James Gunn as the director. I think of him more as like the personality and the writer. I always forget, like, oh yeah, he did direct this and that. He's directed fairly few movies for a guy as famous as he is, because he's done a lot more writing and producing. Up here a while back, or a comment up here a while back. I grew up with the Ewoks cartoon, so I remember it fondly. Probably won't revisit it though. It's like I said, it's not awful. It's just kind of lame, and like to respond to something. I meant to respond to this and I got distracted. Where is it? Like 20 minutes ago, Levy said selling Star Wars to Disney is the biggest sellout move ever. I don't care because it means I got more Star Wars and like more of it is good than not. So I'll take it. Like, call it selling out if you want, but like, hey, I got to see the Millennium Falcon fly again. I never thought I'd get to see that in my life. I never thought I'd get to see a fucking Boba Fett show, let alone one that was actually good. Um, I got to see like live action Ahsoka, Cad Bane, fucking Andor. I mean, Andor by itself, the existence of Andor justifies the Disney sale because Andor is a fucking masterpiece. And then hang on, let me respond to this. Oh fuck me, that is a lot of words I don't know how to pronounce. Hamaguchi Ryusuke, I think that's how it is cool. I've only seen his most recent movie, Evil Does Not Exist, and it's great, but his earlier movies are even more acclaimed, I'm pretty sure. Boo Ahsoka. Are you booing the character or the show? Because the show is a little bit defensible, but the character is great. Though I like the Ahsoka show well enough. Like it's not amazing, and it is definitely like Rebels season 5, but like fuck it. You know what? More Star Wars. I'm a simple man. I see the Star Wars logo, I'm happy most of the time. Yeah, I do need to see Nickel Boys. I have a little like document on my phone of movies, and I keep putting off Nickel Boys because it's fairly long, and I have the document arranged from shortest to longest. So it keeps getting moved back by accident, but I do need to see Nickel Boys. It looks great. I've heard it's great. I know it's not the same director, but like similar subject matter. Sing Sing from I think last year. Sing Sing was fantastic. It Star Wars is not fast food. Star Wars is at its worst a chain restaurant that's better than it has a right to be. And at its best, it's fine dining cuisine. Uh, it says a lot about, like, I kind of think about this. Maybe just because COVID, I think that might be it. Maybe COVID kind of built up a lot of people's creative energy and they needed to, like, jizz it all out everywhere. But something about like 2023 and 4 and even into this year, we just got fucking masterpiece after masterpiece movie. And the reason I'm saying that is because Sing Sing, which is a fucking amazing movie, is like not even in my top 10 of 2024. Before I get to that, I don't know if more always equals better. The MCU should be doing the opposite of that. Yeah, but Star Wars has a way better track record than the MCU. Like the worst Star Wars project is still better than like a solid 50 to 60% of MCU projects. And then there are also some franchises that come to mind that should have quit while they're ahead. Yeah, like Ghostbusters, like I was talking about a few weeks ago. Yeah, fucking, we don't need, what is it, 5 Ghostbusters movies now? And like 50 cartoons and 200 video games and toys and action figures and fucking Happy Meals and Ecto Cooler. Like, I mean, I always say this, but imagine the alternate universe where we did that with Caddyshack instead. There's like 7 fucking Caddyshack movies. Like, Ghostbusters was an above average Gen Xer comedy, has some great moments I still look back on. The second one, also not too bad, even though it's not as good. Uh, we didn't need the fucking Ghostbusters franchise. I don't need to see 250-year-old Bill Murray getting wheeled out of his fucking retirement home and suited up in the Ghostbusters onesie to say some dialogue that he's visibly not invested in. They all look fucking all of them except for Ernie Hudson, because Ernie Hudson just like magically stopped aging at age 60 because he's fucking 80 years old and he's in better shape than any of the other Ghostbusters who are younger than him. He's still muscular, he's still fit, he's still cogent, he still has dark fucking hair. Um, there's a racial rhyme about black people and their skin, and I'm not gonna say it, but you guys know what it is. I do wish I could have gotten the fucking Buckaroo Banzai universe. Like they did like a novel version of World Crime League that apparently sucked. I never read it, but I heard about it. Yeah, Yorgos Lanthimos, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's making real movies. Panos Cosmatos, who I always mix those two up for obvious reasons. He makes really great stuff. Galaxy Quest did not need a franchise. I'm not saying I wouldn't have watched more sequels of it, but Galaxy Quest is kind of a premise that only works the one time. But you know, I fucking maybe, who knows? Maybe it could have been good. The way Disney pumps out trash live action versions of their films is just ew. Wait until someone has a story to tell and is passionate about making the film. Yeah, I haven't seen most of them. I saw the live action Beauty and the Beast, and I thought it was fine. Yeah, you're right. Ghostbusters does only really work once or twice. The 09 video game was pretty good. But part of the Ghostbusters charm is that they kind of suck at their jobs, and that part is not sustainable. I have not seen Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, but I remember you telling me how good it was, like when it came out, and I've kept that in mind ever since. And one of these days, I'll actually get around to watching it. But yeah, so regarding live action Disney remakes, I saw the Beauty and the Beast one. I thought it was fine. I don't think I've seen any of the others. I haven't heard good things about most of them. Oh yeah, maybe it's been a while. Maybe I didn't notice the auto tune on Emma Watson, but I believe you. I don't know. They added like that one scene about the plague doctors. You know, that was cool, I guess. I mean, like I said, I watched it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like necessary to exist. But yeah, like I heard terrible stuff about Snow White. I heard mixed stuff about Lilo and Stitch. God, how many others have there been? Yeah, I did hear that. I heard that Lilo and Stitch stripped out the anti-tourism message of the original. But then I heard other people say it was like otherwise well executed, but most people didn't say that. Like I kind of like, what's the score for it on Letterboxd? That's the metric I always go to. Worth noting that Disney's Resort in Hawaii came out between the original and live action. Yeah, I believe you. Fucking hell. Lilo and Stitch. I have not seen the animated Lilo and Stitch since I was a kid, but I remember really liking it. So one of these days I have to rewatch it. Yeah, the live action one's average score is 3 out of 5. Like 3 even. Which isn't like great, but it's not the worst score either. I don't know if it was when it came out. It's an 04 film. I hid for the longest time, and now I feel like you told me about it in like 2011, and maybe that's not when it came out. But I swear to God, you told me about it when we were in like high school or maybe even like summer scene. But I feel like that. I feel like I'd heard about that from you before. Hang on. 20 fucking minutes ago, before I went off on this tangent, I had a thought that I was trying to bring up because I was thinking about Sing Sing. Sing Sing is a fucking amazing movie, and it didn't crack my top 10 for 2024 because there's so many fucking movies that were good. Oh yeah, here we go. The live action one ends with Nani leaving Lilo with the state so she can go to the mainland and go to college, which kind of spits in the face of the whole Awana message of the original. So what I heard was she left Lilo like with family friends, and but yeah, it is weird she went to the mainland for college when she can go to college for free in Hawaii. And also, like, I also heard she's got the teleportal thing. So why did she leave Lilo? Like, why not commute to school via the teleporter? It takes 5 fucking seconds. If you like thick chicks, it's great. I checked, she's 18. Yeah, well, all teenagers in Hollywood are like 27, so it's fair to assume that she's an adult. Like that's I said the other day about horror movies. Like one of the key selling points of a horror movie is getting to watch a bunch of attractive 27-year-old teenagers have sex and get murdered. Yeah, maybe it was family friends. Yeah, I don't know. Like she doesn't need to go to leave for college. She has the teleporter beam. She can just open a portal and walk through like Rick. Like why not just do that? Yeah, it must have been high school then because I swear to God you've told me about it. No, I did not watch the Lilo and Stitch show. I watched the like obviously the original movie, and I think I watched the two direct-to-video sequels as well because I was 8. I didn't know what direct-to-video meant. I don't remember if they were any good. Rick and Lilo, yeah, do that. Fucking do Rick and Lilo. Why not? I mean, I don't really want to watch a child get fucking traumatized, but maybe it's funny. Yeah, I the Disney like TV spin-offs of their movies from that era, from what I recall, had like better reception than they should. Like the Little Mermaid cartoon. There was the Buzz Lightyear Star Command cartoon, which I only saw the teeniest bit of, but I have the movie, like the pilot movie, on DVD, and I watched that 1,000 fucking times as a kid. Like that was Toy Story 3 to me. But for some reason, I could never catch the show because like I didn't know it was on UPN or whatever, and it's still never gotten a fucking DVD release. It's I don't think it's not on Disney Plus. I guess Disney or like Pixar doesn't like it or whatever, but that's fucking lame. They should put it on there. Yeah, I saw like one episode at a random time, and I never saw it any other time. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. So I made a just out of like boredom and curiosity. I made top 10 lists for every year I've been alive a while back, like every filmmaking year, or top 10 lists of movies from each year. And there were so many good fucking movies in 2024 that a movie as good as Sing Sing isn't even on this fucking list. like, we eating good, as the kids say, because all these movies came out, at least in my region, in 2024, and they were all fucking masterful. Like the fact that Anora is at number 9, because I fucking love that movie. Um, Different Man, amazing. Juror number 2, fucking. I don't know how Clint Eastwood has still got it. Clint Eastwood is 90 fucking 5, or I guess he was 93 when he made that one, and just dragging his fucking old wrinkly ballsack across all of our faces. Like, yep, fuck you. I'm 100 and I can still make movies better than you. Like, I respect the motherfuck out of Clint Eastwood, especially for that movie. That's one of my favorites he's directed, and it's the one he made when he's like old and probably gonna die. They all treated it like it was his final film because it's a reasonable assumption when you're that age. And then he's like, nope, fuck you. I'm working on another. What do I prefer? Endless reboots or endless sequels? Well, here's the central question. Is it good? Like that's the central question, because if you can make a million sequels and they're all good, then I'll take them. I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's what Star Wars does. Star Wars cranks out like a million fucking projects every decade, and most of them are pretty good. There's a few misses here and there, and there's a few things that are have more potential than they do bang for their buck. But like by and large, most of the shit Star Wars makes, I like. I generally. So by reboot, do you mean like hard, like full on remake, or like the kind of like legacy sequel type reboot? The Alien movies. Yeah, the Alien movies, there's probably more good ones than bad, but Alien did get a little bit fucked by having a couple of really shitty installments for a while. Um, but yeah, so like if we're talking legacy sequels, like I tend to balk at them because they're kind of, stupid, and they tend to be lazy, but sometimes they're all right. Force Awakens was pretty good, despite the fact that it accidentally kicked off a wave of terrible legacy sequels. The first Jurassic World was okay, I guess. Like it had its moments. But if you're talking remakes, like fuck your remakes, dude. I don't want to see that shit. And I noticed that Hollywood has mostly moved away from doing like straight remakes. They tend to, like, because people got sick of them, they now tend to like weave it into the canon of the old ones somehow, even if it's done via like plot twist. Like even the Evil Dead remake from 2013 is like loosely connected to the lore from the originals, and there was supposed to be a more explicit connection, but they never shot that scene. Um, so I don't know. I guess like endless sequels has more potential to be good, or at least it has less potential to suck. So I guess I have to go with that. While I'm here, since I have my top tens open, I'm going to tell you guys a very funny story about one of them. This movie here, We Live in Time. I've told some of you this in person. In fact, I've probably told most of you this in person because it's one of my favorite stories to tell. But We Live in Time. Yes, expanding the universe with clever shows like Penguin is great if they do it right. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the central question of anything else. Is it good? Because if it's good, I'll tolerate it doing something I don't normally like. So anyway, I watched We Live in Time, and I watched it really, really intoxicated. Like I think I'd taken an edible and smoked a bowl, and I think maybe I was drinking some alcohol in there too, but maybe not. I forget. But We Live in Time, first of all, gripped me by the short and curlies and did not fucking let me go for its entire runtime. I loved it so much. And two, the scene where the main character, one of the two main characters, gives birth was the most intense experience of my life. Not because it was scary or graphic or any of that, but because I was so connected to these characters that I felt like I was watching my friends have their first child. So I'm just like the whole scene, because I'm like, oh fuck, my friends, they're having their baby, even though they're obviously not my friends, they're fictional. And then there's this it's, I guess this isn't really a spoiler. The birth goes fine, but she winds up doing it in a gas station bathroom because traffic, and fucking goes into labor. It's a whole thing. So he's like the dad, the other main character, he's delivering the baby, and he's got like the two gas station attendants helping him. And it ultimately works out fine. The baby's healthy. An ambulance shows up. They get in the ambulance, and then he turns. This is one of those moments I love of like saying so much with so little, and it shows how good an actor Andrew Garfield is. They're loading her onto the ambulance, and he gets on. He's standing like on the bay of the ambulance, and he turns around and he makes eye contact with these two strangers who he knows he's probably never going to see again. But they were part of the most important moment of his entire life. Like their lives intersected for one brief moment that neither of them will ever forget. And he just waves at them and smiles as the door closes. And I'm just like sobbing the entire fucking scene because it's so good. And it just like, I was high, so I was thinking about it really hard. And I'm like, oh, it's the beauty of the human experience. They're connected for that one brief moment and they'll never forget. Yeah, what else did that director do? John Crowley? Oh my god! The director of We Live in Time did the astronaut episode of Black Mirror, the one with Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett. Okay, yeah, he's fucking good, man. He is really, really good. What else has he done? Why am I not showing you guys what I'm looking at here? Okay. So he did this movie. You know what? I'm throwing everything of his in the watch list. Fuck it. He's earned it after We Live in Time. Boy A. Hey, a boy, I'm a boy. I'm just being racist towards Italians. I'm being racist towards Europeans in general today. They've had it too good for too long. Yeah, it seems like I'm looking at the scores of each thing this guy has made. I'm looking at it through the fucking obnoxious prescription drug commercials. It's like they're all that or higher. So you know what? I'm throwing all his shit on my list. Wow, 2.9. That's like the lowest fucking score, and that's still not that low. Oh, Thomasin McKenzie's in this one? Fuck yeah, I'm seeing that. Okay, she's great. I loved her in Jojo Rabbit and Last Night in Soho. Um, I'm not sure why a young boy lives in an old folks' home. Yeah, I'll get the fucking ad block eventually. It's just normally not a problem because where the ads are popping up is normally the part of the screen I'm not looking at. That's a short. I won't bother with that. Hmm. Yeah, I'll think about adding that later. Anyway, I've done enough. I've added enough fucking movies to my watch list that's already like 5,000 movies long, and that's not an exaggeration. But yeah, so if basically if John Crowley did it, I'm checking it out because he's earned it after We Live in Time. That movie was a fucking masterpiece. And I'm not just saying that because I'm stoned, because I've looked back on it since, and it's like, yeah, it really is. Free healthcare makes you greedy. You've got to do it the American way. Give up all your hopes and dreams for an inhaler. Yeah, true. Don't you love living in a fucking yeehaw ass fucking Wild West country? I'm looking at my top 10 lists for every year now, and I'm really thinking how some years you get a flood and some years you get a trickle. Because like 2024 had so many good movies, I couldn't fit them all on the top 10. And then if I go down to like, well, here I'll go down to 2020 because for obvious reasons. I mean, it says it right here that I had to dig deep for obvious reasons. Nothing came out in 2020 for obvious reasons, so I had to be a little bit faster and looser with what counts as a movie. That's why there's 5 fucking direct to video animated DC movies on here. Normally there'd be like 0 of those, or maybe 1. It's also why Birds of Prey is on here, despite the fact that Birds of Prey isn't really that good a movie. I mean, it's okay. Like, it's got its moments. It's fun slop rather than shitty slop. But it definitely would not deserve to be on a top 10 list for any year, any other year. It's just 2020. Nothing fucking came out except for TV. Oh, we got Money Plane. That was a good one. Fucking, you want to bet on a dude fucking an alligator? Money Plane. I'm just looking through this thing here. I always find it really funny to look at my own taste because you'll see like something filled with like normal blockbuster hit movies that everyone knows, and then you'll see like here. Like 2014, we got all these movies everyone knows, and then we got Song of the Sea, which is fantastic. That's why I put it on the list. But that's like no one's really heard of it at all. It's kind of an obscure G Kids animated thing, but it's great. It's just interesting to see that contrasted with X-Men Days of Future Past. Yeah, what year was I most starving for films? No, that's a pretty good selection. Uh, yeah, here we go. Now, obviously, I like all of these movies, but like Almost Famous, I don't like enough that it'd be on most years' top 10 list. But I guess I just haven't seen enough movies specifically from the year 2000. Oh yeah, there's the one we were talking about. Buzz Lightyear: Star Command. 4 stars. Yeah, that's right. That's about what it deserves. Okay. Yeah, Hollow Man. You guys ever see that? Hollow Man is a lot better movie than it gets credit for. See, like 2.8. That's too low. Hollow Man is a good fucking movie. I mean, it's Paul Verhoeven. Like, it can't be that bad. It's kind of a subversive take on the Invisible Man. Like, he's the Invisible Man, but he's a fucking piece of shit. I don't know. That's fascinating to me. And they did it again in 2020 with that Invisible Man movie that I still haven't seen. But I mean, Paul Verhoeven, his movies only get so shitty. Like, he's too creative for a movie of his to be that fucking bad. There's some great stuff in that one. There's like, Kevin Bacon acting his fucking ass off. There's some nudity. That was cool. Nudity's always good in a movie. They explore the notion of like, what would you turn into if you could. I mean, he says a line in the movie like, you'd be amazed what you're capable of when you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror. And he doesn't just mean that literally. He means like, when there are no consequences for your actions, who are you? And the movie explores that a lot more than most takes on the Invisible Man do. So yeah, it's a cool movie. It's got some good acting performances. Turns a little bit slasher at the end, but what are you gonna do? I recommend it. I don't know why it's on my mind. Probably just because I stumbled across it. But like, yeah, there's a reason that it's number 8 on the top 10 list. It's fucking solid. Oh my god, Josh Brolin's in it. I forgot about that. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, impossibly young Josh Brolin back there. Has anyone in the chat seen The Long Walk yet? By the way, because I was thinking about seeing that. I would have gone today. I just didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like putting on shoes and pants. That's why the show is called People Without Pants. So I didn't go today. Maybe I'll go like tomorrow, Thursday, or whatever. I don't think they are a thing of the past. Like, they still make them. I mean, Handmaid's Tale just ended this year. Black Mirror just put a new season out this year. Like pretty much every generation of human beings ever has thought they were living in the end times. Like, I don't know if that's just a part of the human condition or if it's a sign that we've always lived in shitty conditions, but like, they still make dystopian stuff. But there's a new Hunger Games movie coming out next year. The book version of it, I think, is already out or is out soon. Maybe, I don't know. But they still make plenty of dystopian stuff. They made that Uglies movie last year, which, from what I heard, was ugly. But I don't know. There will always be an appetite for dystopia, probably just because it's like a release valve to see it in fiction rather than have to deal with it in real life. Like, everyone loves watching Mad Max and getting to see the guy like take a lawnmower blade and turn it into a machete or whatever. But in real life, what's going to happen if the apocalypse goes down is that 3 weeks in, you're going to drink some bad water and then shit yourself till you die. Uglies is best left in the dustbin of history. Yeah, I heard the books weren't even that good, which is funny because they're written by the same author as the Leviathan trilogy, which is really good, or at least I thought it was when I was, 14. Maybe I wouldn't like them as much now, but I remember from what I remember of them, they were really interesting and they're really solid books. So it's weird that he like poured all his energy into one series and then the other sucked dick, I guess. I've got them over here, in fact. Benefits of using my bookshelf as a background. Yeah. Leviathan, Scott Westerfeld. Awesome series. Awesome, like, alternate history version of World War One, where, like, Charles... Like, I don't remember the full thing, but, like, basically science went really differently in this world. It's kind of steampunk. So, like one side of World War One uses like mechs and like steam powered mechs and all that, and then the other side has like bioengineered shit. Like I guess Darwin discovered DNA as well as evolution, so there's like they don't really use technology for their weapons; they like bioengineer stuff. It's really fucking insane, but it's really good. And it weaves real history in like way more than you'd expect. Like one of the main characters is he's the son of Archduke Ferdinand, and like there's dispute over whether he has a claim to the crown because his mother was a commoner, and then there's like a letter from the Pope confirming that he is, like that kind of shit. Like it weaves real world history and political intrigue into a weird steampunk fucking sci-fi thing. It's really cool. There's really good shit. I distinctly remember one scene where, unlike every other movie I've ever fucking watched, it remembered how much gold weighs. Like, they're on the airship and the airship starts fucking, like, sinking. And he realizes, oh fuck, it's because we have the bag of gold bars on the ship. So they have to, like, dump the gold bars one by one over the side of the fucking airship until it can fly again. And I remember as a kid being impressed because most movies will say, like, this thing is made of solid gold, and then they pick it up with about as much difficulty as I'm picking up this book. Whereas, like, this amount of solid gold would weigh probably, I don't know, 30, 40 pounds minimum. I might be a complete dumbass there, but it'd be fucking heavy. Like, I remember reading once that, I don't remember how they did the math, but like the golden idol from the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark, he was saying like that's clearly counterfeit because if that were actual solid gold at that size, it would weigh about 230 pounds. So clearly it's just gold leaf or gold plating or, pyrite or whatever. Period dramas do slap. Depending on what period. I'm fucking sick of seeing like Victorian era British people dealing with slight change. Or whatever it was Stewie Griffin said. I'm sick of seeing that. I'm sick of like the Downton Abbey era of shit. Smart characters written by dumb writers. Yeah, shout out to Pin Pop Studios or Pin Pop Productions. I forget which is the name, but it's a YouTube channel that Alex runs, and it does good shit. I've been meaning to take part, and I keep forgetting to do it, but I should. Yeah, great channel. Got some cool. Not exactly lore videos, more like analysis, explanation, exploration videos. But yeah, I watch it every Thursday when the new one comes out. Excuse me. Yeah, that is a problem. You get to see lots of smart characters written by dumb writers. Like, what was it you wrote, Alex? It was like the Wizard, the Wizard, the Dictionary, and the Prophet were what you said, like the three types of smart characters there are in most movies. I didn't ever really notice that till you pointed it out, but then when I was like rewatching The Flash, I'm like, yeah, Cisco might as well be a wizard in terms of how quickly he can throw together a sci-fi solution to their problems. And then the Prophet thing, like that one bothers me the least, honestly, because I could believe that somebody who is that smart and analyze their enemies that closely could predict their behavior that accurately. But yeah, I am a little bit sick of the dictionary and the wizard. I'm a little bit sick of the Prophet too, but like I said, the Prophet's more defensible. But yeah, you were citing like Hermione Granger. Just any piece of knowledge they need, Hermione conveniently knows it. It it really shows how reactionary Harry Potter really is deep down. The fact that his one female friend's job is to basically do their homework for them and like occasionally provide backup in a fight. It Yeah, J.K. Rowling fucking hates herself, and she hates other women, and probably would be happier as a trans man, but she doesn't know that, and that's why that's why she's like this. That's why the screenwriter likes her. She can just explain shit. Yeah, as a screenwriter myself, it definitely is hard to work in exposition in a way that doesn't feel forced. Because I'm so sick of, as you know, like I think that's what the TV trope is called. It's like, you like they kind of they did it in sort of a clever way in the movie The Abyss, where Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio is legally required to give the briefing on how to deal with pressure sickness, like deep sea pressure sickness. So she's legally required to give the briefing about it, but she's giving the briefing to Navy SEALs who are obviously like very well versed in it. So they're like, come on, get on with it. We know. And she's like, yeah. So the way you deal with pressure sickness, like they did it smart, but I've seen many movies, or as Alex said here, now let me get this straight. I've seen lots of movies where the character will say, as you know, 1,000 years ago, the agricultural revolution did this, this, and this. It's like, motherfucker, why are you telling me this? I know how that works. You're telling the audience. Like, you might as well just have like the old-fashioned PI narration or the Star Wars opening crawl at that point. But see, clever screenwriters find a way to write the exposition in a clever way, like James Cameron with The Abyss. And I try to do my best, and sometimes I'm successful at it. But a lot of shows just say give up, and they just have the character fucking info dump straight to the camera with a thin veneer of explaining to the other characters who should know better. So, I don't know. One of these days, I'll get to be a good enough writer that I won't have to try to make it clever anymore. But I'm still learning, as we all are. I am, as always, a work in progress, or whatever it is Will Smith said after he pimp slapped Chris Rock. Rise of the Silver Surfer has the best version of this when the Thing catches everyone up in the story before the final battle. I don't even remember what he said, and I watched that movie like a month and a half ago. Like, that's how forgettable those fucking pieces of shit are. I hate those fucking movies, man. I fucking hate the 2000s Fantastic Four movies. I hadn't seen them since I was a kid. I remembered as a kid thinking, like, because even as a kid, I had half decent taste. But then I rewatched both of them before the new one, before First Steps came out, and I forgot how fucking terrible they are. They're trying to ape the like aesthetics and style of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, but they're only partially successful because Tim Story is only partially as good as Sam Raimi. They fuck up Doctor Doom, as every adaptation does. They yeah, there's some wonky effects, whatever. It's 2005. I'm not going to give the movie that much shit for that. My primary issue, and I don't mean to sound like a fucking SJW friend who's too woke or whatever, but I'm going to. My primary issue with those two movies, they are sexist as fuck, dude. Like, those movies despise Sue and all the other women in the movie, but especially Sue. Like, they add in a fucking love triangle with her and Doom, even though that's not a thing. They don't really give her any agency. They let her fight in the battles, which is shocking. She's like a prissy bitch. Like in the second one, she's madder at the fact that their wedding got disrupted than she is about the potential world-ending alien catastrophe. And she's like mad at Reed about it. And it's like, bitch, there's a fucking alien in the sky that is going to kill us all. And you're pissed that we had to run out on our wedding? Fuck you. I don't care. Human beings' lives are at risk, motherfucker. Um, you love Chris Evans in them? Yeah, Chris Evans, he's fine in the role. No, that's not true. They make him he's he's too one note. Like, yeah, Johnny's a cocky asshole. That's part of his character, but that's not his whole fucking character like it is in those two movies. He makes fun of Ben for his fucking horrific medical condition. He sexually harasses every woman he meets except his sister. He tries to delve into Ben and Alicia's love life, like he's trying to make the how do you fuck jokes, but like it's a PG movie, so he can't be explicit about it. Which, yeah, PG superhero movie in 2007. That's weird. Um, Ben is the best character in those movies because Michael Chiklis, despite having to act through 200 pounds of foam rubber, acts his fucking ass off. He acts circles around every other character in that movie, in either of the movies. I do think the cloud thing people complain about with Galactus is overplayed. Somewhat, but the reason it pisses me off is because they didn't commit to it. Like, they have the little silhouette of Galactus, and they very clearly intended to have real humanoid Galactus in the next movie once they'd warmed the audience up to it. But I'm like, no, just commit to the fucking bit. If you're going to change the nature of Galactus, just change it. Just change it and be proud and say, fuck you. Like, at least then you're taking a stand. Yeah, he does love playing the Thing. Like, for whatever reason, he loved playing that character. He's actually the one who insisted that it be prosthetic and not CG, apparently. But yeah, he is great in those movies, and everything else around him is shit. Like, oh, Reed and Sue are broken up and then they get back together. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, Sue's mad at Reed because he wouldn't commit. Oh, yeah, wow. I've never seen that fucking romantic plot tumor before. The narrative treats her and Doom like they're together, even though they don't seem to be, because when he whips out the engagement ring, the look on her face is, oh, dear Jesus God, please don't. They're just like, they're shitty fucking movies. They're bad mid-2000s superhero movies. And people pretend that they like them now because the 2015 one sucked so bad, I guess. This isn't so much a criticism, it's just interesting. I'd forgotten how often movies used to use a guy threatening to jump to his death as like a stock heroic scenario. Like, Fantastic Four does it. Their whole first big superhero rescue gets kicked off by a dude threatening to jump off a fucking bridge. But like Lethal Weapon did that. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot did that. There was literally a movie called Man on a Ledge where the whole thing was the guy needed to like bring attention to his legal case or whatever, so he did so by threatening to jump. Unfortunately, the new movie didn't do much with the Thing, and I get it, but he's my favorite character, so it's kind of a shame. Yeah, I mean, you got four main characters. You can only give so much screen time to each one. So Incredibles, I was going to bring that one up. Incredibles actually uses it for dramatic effect. Like, it literally, like, affects the course of the plot. Whereas what I'm talking about is when they use it as, like, a stock scenario, like a generic dangerous situation for the hero to be heroic during. And like, I don't know, I guess along the way, we as a society, probably because of like Phoebe Prince and other cases like that, we became more sensitive to suicide and therefore to depicting it in movies casually. Like famously, 13 Reasons Why got in a lot of fucking controversy for the fact that it showed her kill herself in detail, which I guess they edited the episode down later. TikTok won't even let you say fucking suicide. YouTube half the time won't either, but I'm taking the chance because I'd rather that than have to say unalive or some horseshit. So I mean, it doesn't bother me to not see suicides. I'm not bitching that like the world went woke or whatever. I just think it's interesting that we used to be more callous to the issue to the point that like PG superhero movies used it as a stock scenario. It's just mildly interesting to me. I guess that's a sign of progress as a society, or maybe regression, depending on your take. Depending on how sensitive you want society to be. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that they can still call it Suicide Squad in like the titles and posters and everything. Like I noticed, I replayed Lego Batman 3 recently, and I noticed that the DLC based on the movie, or like based on the characters at least, was just called The Squad. I would have just called it Task Force X myself, but whatever. So I am kind of like surprised they're still allowed to say that. I'm not bothered by it because like I can handle the scary words. I just, it's interesting. Also, apparently the Ayer cut, like or the script for the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad 2016 finally got released, and it's like as shitty as everyone thought it was going to be. It's like, wow, who could have guessed that the movie that was one of the worst movies ever made was also pretty bad from the get-go? Like, I get that movies do get butchered in the editing room or in rewrites sometimes, but like, if the movie was that fucking terrible in its final form, I don't think it was ever good. Yeah, exactly. The movie had no hope. Same could be said for the universe. Fucking true, man. That I'm so glad that Peacemaker, when they recapped season 1, just reshot any scenes that connected it to the old universe, because that's the level of disrespect those movies earned by being so fucking terrible. They butcher Superman, they partially butcher Batman. They have a fucking genocidal fascist piece of shit playing Wonder Woman. There's no fucking Green Lantern. Cyborg is a founding Justice Leaguer, which I fucking hate. So what are some great? So I wouldn't say destroyed, because that's the thing, is if the movie's that good, it'll still be pretty good after a lot of fuckery. But like Blade Runner, the theatrical cut of Blade Runner, it's still a great movie, but it does have like some stuff in it that's not necessary that the studio insisted they put in. Like Blade Runner has this great ambiguous ending, but the theatrical cut tacks on like one additional scene, making it less ambiguous. They also they've got the Harrison Ford narration to explain what's going on, turning it into like a PI movie, which I don't fully mind. Though he does say the N word at one point in it, or he quotes it. He doesn't like call someone it, but it's still kind of a weird thing to include. Yeah, so Aliens is still good in its theatrical cut, but it does have a lot more depth to it in the directors, because they add additional scenes to really flesh out some of the stuff going on. But the theatrical cut of Aliens is still great. I've heard the director's cut of Alien 3 is a lot better, or like notably better. I is what I've heard. I mean, it's David Fincher. It can only get so shitty. You're fucking dead wrong on Justice League. No, the theatrical cut of Justice League was better because one, it was literally half as long. Two, it had color. And three, it had some understanding of how superheroics work. The Snyder cut is more consistent as a movie, but that means it has more of what makes the movie shit. And the theatrical cut has one incredible fucking visual of the homeless guy sitting there with the sign that just says, "I tried." Like, there's so much more meaning in that scene than there is in all 4 fucking hours of Snyder's cut. Gotta know. Yeah. Remember when that came out and all the fucking Snyder cucks were like coping about how they used a different take of her saying that and it's so much better now, and it was literally the same fucking take. No, Alex, it's not funny. That's the thing. That's one of the few moments in the movie that is actually sincere. Most of the movie is shit, but there's like some actual emotional weight to a homeless guy's sign saying simply, I tried. Like, that works. Like, sorry, I know the movie is shit and we all hate it, but it does work. That shot does work. As for your other comment, the Daredevil movie, I have not seen the director's cut of Daredevil. I've heard it's better, but still not very good. What are some others that are? Oh, The Abyss. There's one. I was talking about it earlier. So The Abyss, basically because they ran out of time, the studio had they wanted Cameron to cut The Abyss down, and so when Cameron has to when he has to cut a movie down, the way he always does it is he just cuts out a whole subplot. Yeah, Star Wars was apparently saved by the edit, but that was like during editing. That wasn't. It's not like there were alternate cuts of the movie. Well, I mean, there are now because the George Lucas shit. But yeah. So The Abyss, he kind of the way Cameron cut it down to be a less insane length for mainstream release was that he cut all the most explicit stuff about nuclear war. Now, the subtext is still in the movie, if you look closely, but it's much more obvious in the director's cut. And in my opinion, is a much better movie as a result. The theatrical's still good, but the director's cut, the special edition is what he calls it, and I'll explain that for a reason. The special edition of Abyss is like a fucking masterpiece. Like, that's, to me, on par with Aliens and T2. It just has the unfortunate distinction of having come out between Aliens and T2, so it got lost in the shuffle of James Cameron's movies. They literally dropped a bomb. I don't know which scene you're referring to. There's multiple scenes with bombs in The Abyss. The Abyss also, the extended cut, has one of my favorite lines I've ever heard an extra deliver. Oh, T2, yeah, T2 did literally drop a bomb. Yeah, I forget. See, I've only ever really seen the director's cut of T2, so I forgot the theatrical cut is missing that iconic scene. But there's a line in the extended cut of The Abyss that I love, where they, like, the movie opens with a U.S. nuclear sub getting blown up, and of course the obvious suspects are the Soviets. It turns out it's not the Soviets, and I won't spoil it. But so, nuclear tensions are fucking red hot again, and there's this like news segment where they're watching TV, and there's like the newscaster doing the man on the street interviews, and he's talking to one guy. This is this guy's only line in the fucking movie because he's a bit part. I don't even know if he was credited. And he says, I don't get it, man. I mean, they love their kids too, right? So why are we doing this? Like, that line basically perfectly encapsulates what The Abyss is about. And the actor delivers it wonderfully too. I hope he had a career doing something else because he was too good to be wasted on that bit part. The reason Cameron insists upon calling it the special edition, as he explained in the bonus features on the 4K I own, he said he refuses to call it the director's cut because that implies he's not satisfied with the original. And he is. And you know what? Good for him, because I would not be, if, like, under the circumstances, but he's a bigger man than me, I guess. And I really respect the fact that he leveraged the fucking monster hit that was T2 into getting to finish The Abyss. Like, you just rehired all the VFX guys 3 years later and had them finish their work they'd been doing. So, good for him. He's another one. We were talking about, like, directors who make real movies. James Cameron is fucking up there. It says a lot that Titanic is, like, one of his weakest movies. And Titanic is great. But the man made Terminator, and The Abyss, and T2, and Aliens, and True Lies, and fucking also Piranha 2, though he was one of like 7 fucking directors that movie had, so I'm not really blaming him for it. Is that all his movies? He's another one who's done surprisingly few movies for his level of fame. But yeah, he's great. I love James Cameron. He raised the bar, like South Park said. He's the bravest pioneer. Oh shit! I didn't realize how long I'd been on. It is 10 o'clock, and I kind of feel like getting stoned and watching Alien Earth. Speaking of stuff James Cameron worked on, or franchises he worked on. And the new season of Futurama is also out, which they released all at once, which is, sign of confidence in the property. Am I right? So I think I am going to go pack up my bong, or pack my bong, I should say, and watch Alien Earth. Because I feel like treating my brain after some of the fucking shit I've had to watch over the last few weeks. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Time to finish my finish my edit. Good joining the stream. Thank you for joining. As usual, I'll be back on Thursday. I might have seen the Long Walk movie by then. I might not have. Depends on whether or not I feel like getting dressed that day, and depending on like the showing times and everything. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Take care. Stay hydrated. Like the stream. I finally remembered to say like the stream this time. Subscribe to the channel. There's that stupid little bell icon that I don't use, but other people should because it helps with algorithm, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Wash your butthole tonight. No matter how clean your butthole is, wash it again. It is always in need of more cleaning. Take care, everybody.